Bright Suns makers, it's Miss Michele from the Creation Station, and welcome to our first episode of Fiction Kitchen. Each month we'll show you how to recreate food and drinks from books, video games, TV shows, and movies. Today we'll show you and your Padawans how to make Grogu's favorite treat, Blue Milk Macarons. This tasty space treat was featured recently in Chapter 12, The Siege, of the Mandalorian TV series on Disney+. Now, if you want to make your own little Grogu's happy or eat these solo, here are the ingredients and supplies you will need. You will need 1 cup of almond flour, 1 3/4 cup of powdered sugar, 1/4 cup of baker's sugar or sugar that is more fine than regular grain sugar, a pinch of salt, 3 room temperature eggs which will be separated into egg whites, 1/4 teaspoon of cream of tartar, blue food coloring, a 1/2 teaspoon of vanilla extract or raspberry as they used on the show, and to save time and mess, 1 tub of premade buttercream frosting. For our tools, you will need a hand or stand mixer with a whisk attachment, a flour sifter, which is very important, some measuring spoons, 2 medium to large mixing bowls, a curved spatula, a hand whisk, and 2 plastic piping bags, or you could use plastic food bags. For our first step, you will need a mixing bowl and whisk. Carefully pour the almond flour and powdered sugar into a bowl and whisk carefully until everything is mixed nicely. Next, grab a new mixing bowl and the sifter. Scoop out a small amount of the flour mixture into the sifter and engage the sifting. Do not fill up to the top because you may experience a revenge of the sift and clog the tool. This process will take quite a long time, but it is very important for success. We want the sugar-flour mixture to be very fine so the macaron has that smooth, flat surface when it bakes. If you have large pieces of almond still in your mix, it makes the surface bumpy. Sifting a second time will get all those rogue ones out. At the end, you will have a few teaspoons of the mixture that were too large to be sifted. Go ahead and throw it out with the rest of that wretched hive of scum and villainy in your kitchen. Let's make our French meringue. You're going to need your 3 room temperature eggs, the baker's sugar, salt, and cream of tartar. Go ahead and start to separate your egg whites into the mixing bowl. Then, carefully add 1/4 a teaspoon of cream of tartar and then a small pinch of salt. Go ahead and lock the mixer in place and start to mix on medium speed. This force will awaken the potassium bitartrate and help stabilize the egg whites and increase their warmth tolerance and volume. Once you see the mixture start to froth, gradually add the baker's sugar a little at a time. Once all the sugar is added, mix on high until the meringue forms stiff peaks. Now it's time to combine our flour mixture with the meringue. When you do combine the two ingredients, carefully fold in the meringue. Do not stir it. Folding is where you scrape the bottom of the bowl over to the top to combine the two mixtures. It helps keep the mixture light and airy and fluffy. When you stir, you start to break down that airiness that you created. So remember, fold in the meringue. Once the mix is combined, you'll want to add a half a teaspoon of vanilla extract or a half a teaspoon of raspberry extract, and then 2 to 3 drops of blue food coloring. In this video, I added 3 gel drops and folded the mixture until the dye and extract were blended thoroughly. Now it's time to pipe out the cookies. You will want to line your baking sheets with parchment paper. And to help keep your cookies all the same size, you can draw circles on the underside as a template. To ensure that the cookies cook thoroughly, the circles will need to be rather small, around 1 to 1.5 inches in diameter. Now carefully fill up your piping bag or plastic food bag halfway with the mixture, twist the top close, and snip off the top for a small hole. Carefully pipe out each cookie, but keep in mind that the mix will spread out as it settles. Once you finish piping, take the baking sheet and drop it from 2 inches in the air. Spin it around and then drop it again once more. This will help eliminate any air bubbles that might cause your cookie to crack. When you're done with that, go ahead and set aside your sheets for 10 to 15 minutes, which will create a laminate surface for the cookie shell. As you wait, you can preheat the oven to 300 degrees. Once the oven is ready and the lamination process is done, go ahead and pop the cookies into the oven for 18 to 20 minutes and then watch the rise of these Skywalker treats. When you take the finished cookies out, you will hopefully have cookies with a shiny flat surface that have a ring around the bottom, which are called the feet. While our cookies cool, we can get started on the buttercream filling. Now you can spend time and frustration making this from scratch, but I have a new hope, using pre-made tubs of frosting. Just scoop out the frosting into a large mixing bowl. Go ahead and add a few drops of food coloring and 1/4 a teaspoon of any flavor extract you want. Lock the mixer and then mix on medium-high until you have a uniformed color. When you are happy with the consistency and color of the frosting, go ahead and fill up a piping bag halfway full and keep in the refrigerator until you are ready to assemble your cookies. Once the cookies have completely cooled off, flip half of them over. Go ahead and grab your buttercream filling and pipe the filling onto the bottom of the cookies. When you are finished piping, pick up the other half of the cookie and place it on top. I like to give mine a little twist as I go so that they can stick in place. When you finish assembling the cookies, set them aside in the fridge until you are ready to serve. But don't be the last Jedi to get one. Help yourself to one of these marshmallowy soft cookies. This is the way to make these treats at home. Thank you for joining us for this episode of Fiction Kitchen. Please share photos of your bakes on social media and tag the Creation Station or use the hashtag FictionKitchen. May the force be with you, makers.